Hello, true crime and wine time friends. Thank you for joining me, your host, Terry Dussault, as I dive into the case of the Texas cheerleader mom. But before I get started, I would like to introduce our special guest today, JT from Virginia, who was chosen for this month's fan to participate in our case. JT is also one of our Patreon family members. And for those of you that do not know, we will draw a fan from our fan club entries each month. So if you want to join me on an episode, go sign up on our website at truecrimeandwinetime.com or by joining our Patreon family at patreon.com/truecrimeandwinetime. Welcome, JT. I am excited to have you here. Say hello.
Hey, everybody. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for your patience. Before we really get involved, JT, when did you first become interested in true crime?
Probably the first time that I ever saw Silence of the Lambs. I think I was in high school. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time because it digs into the psyche of criminals. And that's probably one of my favorite things to do. It's scary. It's a scary, scary place, but it's, a little risk is fun.
I would like some Chianti and fava beans. Yep. See, you did it better than me. For today's episode, I am pairing my go-to Sauvignon Blanc by Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo Sauvignon Blanc has a distinct fresh flavor of melon and citrus, a perfect match for your favorite salad, seafood, poultry dishes, and dead people. It doesn't really say that, but yeah. I think it, and it's one of those that I say is easy access. Just twist it. Easy access. And JT, what are you pairing from Virginia for our episode today?
Sure. So we actually have a hotel here in the city, the Jefferson Hotel. It is a classic. It's old. The staircase is what the Sound of Music staircase was based off of. And they actually have their own wine. I am drinking a Pinot from the Jefferson Hotel, and it is a yummy.
Okay, well, pour yourself some. And we will get started. This episode is brought to you by my dog's favorite treats, Dope Dog. They make dogs happy. They have the tastiest CBD treats for dogs who need a little something extra. Dogs love Dope Dog because their treats taste amazing and they make them feel better. Parents love them even more because of their human-grade ingredients and high-quality CBD. If your dog suffers from separation anxiety, joint pain, or even if they're just having a bad day, Dope Dog can help. They have a full collection of CBD products designed specifically for dogs, including treats, oils, and even CBD shampoo. Is your dog ready to be a dope dog? Also, at Dope Dog, the True Crime and Wine Time listeners, you can get 20% off anything in the store. Just use promo code True Crime Wine Time. I do need to let everyone know this episode contains adult language and disturbing information and may not be suitable for all listeners.
I was going to say, the only reason you're doing the warning is for me.
Or me. This case about the Texas cheerleader mom. Wanda Webb Holloway was born in 1954 and lived in Channelview, Texas, which is about 6 miles or so from where I grew up in Houston. Channelview is a suburb of metropolitan Houston, and in 2010 had about 38,000 residents. And for those of you that like a little bit of fact stuff, Channelview is home to Lorenzo De Zavala, one of the founding fathers of Republic of Texas, and is northeast of the Houston Ship Channel. I spent many of days and nights in Channelview since it was the neighboring school to North Shore, my own area. I attended church at St. Andrew's Catholic Church in Channelview, also made my first communion and confirmation there. And one of my oldest best friends, Teresa, lived there, as well as my very first official boyfriend in high school.
Scandalous.
So I guess you can say I know the area and some of the people pretty well. Before we dive into this crazy story, what do you know about Houston, Texas, and have you heard of this case before?
I have never heard this case before. I lived as a kid in Corpus Christi, Texas, and apparently made a quick trip to Houston. I do not remember it. So this is new territory for me. And but I was a 2-year-long cheerleader. Maybe I'll understand half of the terms you use.
Maybe. Now, do you have children?
Yes, I do. Got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
I am sure this story will give you some great pointers of things not to do as a parent.
I love those kind of stories because I didn't do it.
Because you didn't do it. Wanda Holloway grew up as many other kids did in the area. Both of her parents worked. Wanda was known as an overachiever and wanted to be somebody when she grew up. Wanda, like many young girls, especially in Texas, wanted to be a cheerleader, but Wanda's father would not permit her to participate in cheerleading or drill team as he found it distasteful and he felt the outfits were whorish. Some say this led Wanda down the path of living through her daughter.
I guess it's just a crime to show your kneecaps.
It can be. What I think you should have worried about more was Wanda married her husband, Tony Harper, at the age of 18, and they went on to have 2 children, Shane Harper and Shauna Harper. It is said that part of what Wanda loved about Tony was that he came from a family that was seen as well off in the area, where Wanda's mother worked in the school cafeteria and her father at a local plant. And Tony's father owned several gas stations, and his mother owned her own boutique. A little more upscale, a little more polished.
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
I don't even think that was a term back then.
No, I'm sure it wasn't.
As a parent, don't you always want your children to marry up and do better?
I just want my kids to marry somebody who's sane.
The couple divorced in 1980 with Wanda getting physical custody of the children, the house, and most of the furnishings. Tony Harper had done well for himself and owned Harper's Insurance. They were not rich, but he made a modest income, allowing Wanda to be a stay-at-home mother. Reports say that Wanda was determined that her daughter would have everything that she never did. Wanda purchased Shauna her first cheerleading outfit at the age of 5 and entered her into many extracurricular activities to start building that popularity. After Wanda and Tony divorced, Wanda became the subject of the Channelview gossip circle, which I have to say I've probably been the subject of that gossip circle myself once or twice back in the day. But let me say, I was a teenager, so a little bit different than someone married with children. But she became a subject of the gossip chain because she married Gordon Englehart, who was an older and wealthier man that lived in Beaumont, Texas. But this marriage was short-lived. There were several reports stating that Wanda tried to reconcile with Tony after that divorce, but as you can imagine, that was not successful.
I feel like the definition of insanity is trying something again, expecting a different result. And, well, this isn't going very well so far.
No, it's not. Well, Wanda then married C.D. Holloway, who was 20 years her senior, whom she met at the Missionary Baptist Church. C.D. was Wanda's chance at acceptance and the chance to be the wealthy woman she always desired. See, C.D. owned his own pipeline construction company and was wealthy. Now, they lived in a modest home in Channelview, and Wanda was known for bragging about all her diamonds, their personal airplane, and of course, her clothes. And Wanda was a true Texas woman who believed that she should always be dressed to the nines, and that included the big hair and the Aquanet.
There's never enough Aquanet in this world for that hair.
There is not. I used a lot of it back in the day. Now,
That's a main contributor to global warming.
All that Texas hair.
All the Texas hair.
There's that Texas accent. So, okay, I'm going to say we need to take a drink because this Texas mom is going to take the whole "my child is better than yours" to a whole new level.
I love it. I'm grabbing my glass.
Wanda pushed her kids and was known for pushing her daughter to be the most popular and, of course, a cheerleader. Wanda thought that if you were a cheerleader in Texas, then you had a magical life with these lifelong friendships. Wanda wanted this life for her daughter so bad that she signed her daughter up for modeling gigs at the mall and sent her to cheerleading camps to help give her the skills she needed. Now, the story would not be complete if I didn't tell you about another Texas mom who was a lot like Wanda Holloway. Verna Heath also lived in Channelview and had a daughter the same age as Wanda's daughter. These two moms crossed paths over the years as moms of daughters the same age, but unlike most moms who befriend the other moms, these two ladies were never friends. They did participate in the typical carpooling and mom's coffee meetup with other moms, but they saw each other as competition. The Holloways and the Heaths both lived in the Sterling Green neighborhood and lived just around the corner from each other. And get this, their homes had the same identical floor plans.
Yep, I don't think I'd ever find myself in a neighborhood where the floor plans are exactly the same. I think that that means everybody knows exactly where everything is, and it's a little easier to hop in there and take some stuff. Not
That's
that
true.
I have anything to take.
But gotta think, I can just imagine these two women both dressed to the nines with their big hair and their Aquanet hairspray, thinking their daughter was the best and setting out to prove it and going, my daughter's better than yours. And on the other hand, our house is exactly the same.
This is Honey Boo Boo before Honey Boo Boo was Honey Boo Boo.
That is true.
Get that go-go juice.
What is go-go juice?
I think she called Mountain Dew go-go juice. And boy, did she drink a lot of it as like an 8-year-old. It explains a lot. Yeah. I think it kind of messed up that gene pool a little bit.
Well, what is ironic here is that Shauna, Wanda's daughter, and Amber, Verna's daughter, were actually friends early on in their lives and used to have sleepovers. Both girls were polite, well-mannered, and did well in school. Amber was the more outgoing of the two, with Shanna being an honor student and vice president of the 8th grade, while Amber was the president. Shauna and Amber both took lessons at Alpha Gymnastics, which for those of us who are not of the cheerleading group, but you are, I hear it's equivalent to Tiger Woods golf lessons. Pricey and competitive, to say the least.
Both gymnastics and cheer are some of the most competitive sports you don't hear about because they're competitive within themselves. Like, they're internally competitive. You don't hear about it outside except for like the Olympics, or sometimes colleges go against each other. But for the most part, it's like, and usually the saddest part is that it's parent to parent. And they just go at it.
while researching this, I was wondering, you hear about stage moms.
Hmm.
Do you really think stage mom came from cheerleading moms?
Oh, gosh, they're one and the same.
Are they? Now, have you ever known
Yeah,
any moms like this?
yeah, I've met a few. I've met a few. The year or two that I did cheerleading in college, we went to a couple of competitions, and those parents, even with their kids in college, follow their kids around, and I kid you not, with fanny packs full of makeup to make sure that they put the kids' faces back on. Like, it's wild to me.
So, did you
I
take a fanny pack to fix your makeup?
No, not at the cheerleading competitions. But there's parties and fun times and things, so it's whatever. Folks in Texas might judge me, and that's
They might
okay.
judge you.
I'll be the
Uh,
talk of the town.
so get ready for this. Wanda also liked to dress her daughter and her in matching outfits. One being a cheerleading outfit, which I have to say is cute when your kids are little. Think about it. Your little 2-year-old dressed up like you, but not when your kid is in middle school and headed towards being a teenager. I mean, this screams desperate to me. I think Wanda was truly trying to relive her life through her daughter.
Yeah, that is prime cut. That is a prime cut of beef and a great example of exactly what that is like. I would be, you know what? I was somebody who did not mind my parents dropping me off right in front of the school. I didn't mind hugging them in front of other people, but I would be absolutely mortified.
You wouldn't have wanted to wear a matching little suit with your dad?
Now, I guess in certain situations that's fine, but probably not.
So now all of the articles and stories I read, and I'll say that I heard about during that time, say the trouble started brewing in 1989 when Shauna was scheduled to try out for Alice Johnson Junior High, seventh grade cheerleading squad. Now, what people need to know about this, Shauna attended Channelview Christian School, which was a private school that did not have a squad. Wanda had, let's say, call it Shauna's business plan. She was going to pull Shauna out of the Christian school and enrolled her into Alice Johnson, the public school, so that Shauna could be on the cheerleading squad. Little did Wanda know, Verna had the same plan for her daughter, Amber. And yes, friends, this means that Shauna and Amber will be competing against each other for a coveted spot on the cheerleading squad. Now, I have to say, Verna had done her planning a wee bit better than Wanda had. Verna had flyers printed up with candy attached for Amber to hand out while meeting her future schoolmate, as Verna had not yet enrolled Amber into the public school, but had garnered permission for Amber to try out as she would be attending the school year next year.
This is getting dangerous, is what this is getting. We're
Well,
breaking. Um,
as you can guess, Wanda was hot. Let's just be honest, she was pissed. Probably didn't say the
hmm
word pissed. And she was not ashamed or shy about letting everyone know about it. Wanda tried to get the school board to step in, and when that didn't work, she tried to get the other parents to side with her and encourage the votes for her daughter. See, there were 2 open spots on the squad and 3 sixth graders trying out for the seventh grade squad.
the the odds were not in their favor.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I any parent that is so willing to go so far to live through their child needs to sort out some priorities, I think.
Well, to Wanda's shock, her daughter did not make the team.
Oh no.
And let me tell you, you thought she was hot before? She was totally neurotic now. She threatened to sue the school and told everyone that Amber should not have been allowed to try out since she was currently not enrolled in school. And Wanda's rant did not change the outcome for her daughter, but she was successful in having the rules changed for future. Now, any student trying out now must attend a full semester as a student within the Channelview School District. I mean, I just have to say, this just makes me crazy. I mean, who gets so upset over their child not making the team that, get this, she used her husband's wealth and power to get the rules changed? What do you think her husband thought of this?
I think that, well, I don't know about what he thought. I think if I was him, I'd be mortified, absolutely embarrassed,
So
and
what would you
yeah.
do if your wife asked you to petition the school board, which you sit on, to change the rules because your child or stepchild wasn't good enough to make the team?
I mean, I've always heard the phrase happy wife, happy life, but at a certain point, you just gotta shut her down. Shut her down. I
I
made her
gotta,
drink, everybody.
I gotta drink because I can tell you what a handsome hubby would say. He would have said, Terry Lynn, not no, but hell no. That's what he would have said. Now, I've always thought that I was blessed to have Sylvia as my mom, or as she was known to everyone when I was growing up, as Mama Bear. Mama Bear wanted the best for my brother and I, but she would have never done something like this. Yes, she would buy tons of candy and cookies so that we could get prizes
Of
and
course.
took us to tryouts and all that stuff, but never did she try to bully anyone to get things changed for us. So I got to say, thank you, Mama Bear, because as we get back to the story, I can say that I can imagine surviving what is about to happen.
Mama Bear sounds amazing.
She's pretty freaking amazing. And since we're on video, people, y'all can't see. Well, trying to show him, a picture, but I don't know if it worked of Mama Bear.
It's not registering her as like, oh, there it is. Oh,
She was also nicknamed by the grandkids as they got older,
mm-hmm.
Cruella de Vil, because of the nice gray thing.
Cruella de Vil. Cruella.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Now, are you ready for what's about to happen?
I wasn't ready. I'm still not ready for what we talked about earlier. So,
Okay,
no,
good.
I'm
I gotta
not.
have a quick sip because we're about to move on to batshit crazy.
Yay.
Not bunny boiler, just
No.
batshit crazy.
Okay. All right.
Immediately after her daughter lost, Wanda started planning for next year's tryouts. Wanda reached out to Shanna's dad as she wanted to do something big, like Texas big, to help their daughter's chance for next year's tryouts. They came up what is now known as the ruler incident of Channelview. Wanda and Tony, or I know, isn't that make you just laugh? Wanda and
I,
Tony ordered rulers and number 2 pencils that were printed with "Vote for Shanna Harper" to hand out to the students right before tryouts. So just imagine Wanda with her hair all big and done up, nails done, dressed to the nines, went to the school with a box of the rulers and pencils for Shanna to hand out, and she was told, no deal, not happening.
you
Items did
don't shut her down. You
yeah,
can't. It's not,
the items did not meet the school election rules, and the cheerleader sponsor and vice principal confiscated all of the items in the box. Tony later told a reporter that his ex-wife called him all upset and crying and saying, they're not going to let me do this. Tony later said Wanda would have been familiar with these rules, so he was not sure why she went ahead with the plan.
She has started to show herself as somebody who thinks that she is above the rules, even though the rules were literally put in place for people like her. So,
Guess what? Wanda didn't like being told no.
yeah.
So she went back to the school a couple of days later and continued handing out rulers and pencils.
Can, can you imagine if this happened today? She
Uh,
would be arrested.
oh, just wait. She gets
Okay.
arrested, but not for this. A
Oh,
special meeting was called by the cheerleading sponsor with all of the parents of the students trying out. Shanna was disqualified for breaking the rules. Wanda went crazy, and let's just say she was pissed beyond belief. Now, Wanda and her ex-husband both pleaded with the school officials to change their minds. Wanda said that Verna had been allowed to hand out flyers with candy the year before. See, the problem was that Wanda and Tony had "Vote for Shanna Harper" imprinted on the ruler and pencils, which was against the rules. And after
yeah.
she was disqualified, Tony says his daughter told him that she didn't want to be her cheerleader anymore. However, Wanda wasn't having it.
I have seen this where parents push their kids into something that they don't want to do because the parents want them to do it, and it is, to me, it's the equivalent of telling a kid, no, you can't date that person, or no, you can't do something, and usually it just ends up exploding in the long run.
Well, guess what Wanda did?
Um, she and I are not on the same wavelength. I cannot.
Well, she started planning for next year.
Again.
Well, because this will be the biggest year yet, as both girls will be heading into high school at Channelview High School, and being a high school cheerleader was a must in Wanda's eyes.
Well, at that point, she can hand out vodka bottles that have like vote for, I mean,
Okay, wait a minute. We didn't do that much drinking, especially not as freshmen.
well, I didn't either. I just thought it would be funny.
Okay, maybe we did, but I think it was more like Bartles and James wine coolers.
Oh, well, wine coolers are a little easier to brand, so.
They are. Knowing that Amber had a better chance at getting on the high school squad, because remember, she now had 2 years of junior high squad experience and was well known. Wanda was desperate and knew she had to do something drastic.
Pa, pa, pa.
Now, she does get credit. This time, instead of coming up with a ruler giveaway plan, Wanda decided to reach out to her ex-brother-in-law, Terry Harper, which to this day, and I have to say, I also wonder why she chose him. It's not like they had a great relationship or that Terry was a mastermind. In fact, Terry Harper had a DWI, few other scraps with the police, ran around on his wives, but nothing major. Now, I have to say, I guess he was the only person that she knew that had a criminal record, because at the time, Channelview was not known as a haven for criminals. So I'm sure you're wondering what Wanda's brilliant plan was that she needed her ex-brother-in-law's help for.
I am. He kind of sounds like a dude who got pulled over by the police and was like, "Hey, I swear to drunk officer, I'm not God."
Yep, see? Well, she wanted to make sure that without any chance of failure, that her daughter would make the squad.
All right.
This led Wanda to Terry Harper, her ex-brother-in-law's trailer, where she pulled up and asked him to meet her around the corner at the convenience store.
I have a feeling she's not about to ask him if he can coach her daughter on tumbling.
But Terry said that Wanda was acting bubbly and outgoing as normal, and she asked him, just how much he loved his niece and nephew, which he replied, "I love them with my life."
That's a bad move, my friend.
Well, it made Wanda very happy,
Oh, I
and
bet it
she
did.
proceeded to tell him that she wanted two people taken care of, and she didn't care how it was done. Terry
I'm
said he was
guessing.
appalled.
I'm guessing she didn't mean put them in her will.
Um, he told her outright, "I don't do anything like that, and I don't know anyone who would do a 13-year-old child." Terry said that Wanda replied, and I quote, "But Terry, you don't know this little girl. If you knew her, oh, I can't stand her. I mean, she's a bitch. Makes me sick. I mean, I could knock her in the face, you know?"
Nope, I don't.
So, yeah, she did not want to put anyone in her will. She wanted them removed from the face of the earth.
Oh, well, as one does when one has competition. Yes.
Well, Terry said that Wanda just looked at him and then said she would get back to him. She got in her car and left.
I,
Now,
I would. I'd hook up my trailer and move.
don't think the story's over here. And I do want to just put a disclaimer because my name's Terry. His name's Terry. We are not related. Oh, wait, that would be last names. Never mind.
That would be.
We're good.
Y'all, it's the wine. It's okay.
Today's episode is sponsored by Best Fiends, my other favorite pairing for wine time besides true crime. Best Fiends, like best friends, but without the R. Now, I am in love with this puzzle game. It is the perfect pairing for all of my wine time, and it helps me get my mind off my true crime. I started playing over the holidays, and I am already on level 447. All of the characters are adorable little bugs. Now, JoJo was my favorite. That was until I unlocked Bo. I wonder if I liked Bo so much, that's why I named my new pup Bo. Plus, you earn keys to open the locked doors that hold extra items that you can use to upgrade and evolve your fiends. I connected my game to my Facebook friends so that I can share gifts with them. And since I'm a competitive person, I love trying to stay one level ahead of them. And since you do not need internet to play, I am able to play in the car while I'm out by the fire enjoying my wine time or even on the plane. I love all the bright colors and I can play as much as I like or as little as time allows. For me, it's perfect that I can play for just those few minutes or I can play for 30 minutes. And I feel like I'm giving my brain some much needed non-crime stimulation. You need Best Fiends for your wine time or anytime. Engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. Trust me, with over 1 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play. Download Best Fiends for free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. Yeah, now, Terry says he did not hear from Wanda again until Christmas Eve when his niece, Shauna, pulled him over after opening presents with the rest of the family and said, "Mom wants you to call her at this number." Terry figured Wanda wanted to tell him she had just been kidding or she was going to try again. Terry soon found out. Wanda wanted him to reconsider her earlier request. Terry says he asked her why she didn't just let her daughter try out and for things to happen as they were meant to be. Wanda swore she couldn't because Shauna would be devastated if she didn't make it this time, and she feared she would never try out again.
She would just be clutching her pearls.
She would. Now, Terry was freaked out, to say the least, because he felt that Wanda was going to make it happen one way or another. So Terry decided to go to his brother, Tony,
There's always a Tony in the
the
family.
ex-husband, right? Well,
Hmm.
Tony immediately told him he needed to call the Harris County Sheriff's Department and report his ex-wife because she's batshit crazy.
Yeah. Go Tony.
And Terry did.
Good for him.
However, it was
Uh-oh.
not easy to get the sheriff's department to take him serious. I mean, stop and just think about it. A mom wants to kill her daughter's cheerleading competitor and the girl's mom. I mean, that is batshit crazy stuff, and that doesn't happen in Channelview.
I
Well,
guess
it
I'd have
didn't.
to. Well, yeah. I guess I'd have to weigh that against the why is this dude even making this up? It's too crazy to be fake. Like,
Well, thankfully, the sheriff's department, they said, you know what? We're going to put a wire on him and showed him how to record his calls. And I said, well, just see,
okay,
what
good.
happens. Worst case,
Yeah,
we arrest him for being crazy, right?
right.
Over the next several weeks, the police were convinced this was not a joke, and they were seriously concerned that Wanda was going to find a way to have these murders committed. So they helped teach Tony how to negotiate. And after negotiating, Wanda and Terry agreed on $2,500 to kill Verna Heath and $5,000 to kill 13-year-old Amber Heath.
I just see like a bunch of like 90s police officers surrounding like the speakers as the conversation's happening, and like their mustaches just drop lower and lower and lower on their face as they hear this conversation.
Yeah, and because I grew up in that area, and I can think they probably also had a dip in their mouth and they had to lean over and spit a little bit out.
I'm guessing they just fell out the side. Like they were too distracted to even spit it out.
Now, we've got to remember, Wanda was wealthy now, but Wanda said she couldn't afford the $7,500 to kill them both. And she decided that by killing Verna, that Amber would be too upset by the murder of her mother to even try out for the squad.
So heartbroken. It's pretty messed up.
Now, I got to say, and I got to be honest, my first thought when I heard about this case back in the day was seriously, your husband owns a private plane. You tell people that you have $2 million laying around. How in the hell can you not afford $7,500? But now that I'm older, I get it. You may be worth $2 million, but how do you get $7,000 cash and not tell your husband why you need it? Because
um,
that's it. My marriage, that would not be doable.
Honey, I've got a lot of late fees at Blockbuster, and I need $7,500.
I mean, what would your wife, do you and your wife have an amount that, like, okay, up to this amount, you don't need to ask?
Um, Pretty much anything. I just ask. It's just safer that way.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I can't see being like, I just need $7,500. Why? Because like I turn into a toddler with my excuse. Because I said so.
Because I said so.
Yeah.
Well, the plan was agreed upon, and Wanda would pay a hitman that Terry found for $2,500 to kill Verna. Now, this part to me, besides the fact that Wanda called Terry from the Grandy's restaurant and told him, I just want her gone, and that Terry was going to find the hitman and be the go-between. And I have to say, using the phone at Grandy's was just wrong. I love Grandy's cinnamon rolls. And I can't go to Grandy's without thinking of Wanda Holloway.
She was going to cinnamon roll Verna in a grave.
I mean, she ruined it for me, Wanda.
You know what? You just got to you got to push past it, Terry. You got to push past it.
Well, I no longer live in that area, so okay, back to the story and a drink. On January 28th, Wanda dropped her daughter off at church, and she went off to meet Terry at a Pasadena motel. Now, I got to remind you that Terry was working with the police, and all of the calls were being recorded, and they were following Wanda, and they caught her on video meeting up with Terry at the motel.
She's not exactly like undercover, so.
I said motel, not hotel.
This is shady.
Oh, it gets better.
Would you like an STI with the side of your crime?
Oh, it gets better.
Okay.
When they arrived at the motel, Wanda didn't have the money. She instead gave Terry a pair of 1.5 carat diamond earrings as the down payment. And when removing the earrings, Wanda said, and I quote, "I couldn't pull the trigger myself, but I sure can do it this way." I mean, that's cold.
I can't, like, you know, I say this a lot, but I need a pair of Ugg boots and a frap because I can't even right now. I can't even.
I mean, now, I still can't help but wonder why she had to give her earrings and not cash. Part of me thinks she was going to try to set Terry up since, think about it, he was going to have to pawn those earrings to pay that hitman.
Yeah, and I mean,
pawn shops keep records.
Yeah, I guess the whole phone call, there weren't really cell phones a ton then, so it's kind of hard to track that kind of a thing. So unless you wiretap, so she probably thought she had the perfect plan.
Well, the next day was January 1991, and Shanna was practicing for her tryouts when 2 police officers came to the house. Wanda Holloway was arrested for solicitation of capital murder. Shanna said she remembers her mother taking off her jewelry, setting it down on the table, and telling her, "Your grandmother is coming over." And the police said Wanda seemed totally blasé about the whole thing.
You know, I can imagine like them coming in saying you're under arrest, and they walk into her and her daughter doing the routine together. She kind of reminds me of the contestant from the movie Miss Congeniality who like juggles the batons on fire. Like she would be that person. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Her favorite date, an ideal date would be like what, April or May?
April.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have followed this case way back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always just been like, wow. I mean, wow. I never, when I saw it the first time, I was like, somebody's making this up.
It sounds like an article from The Onion. It really, it really does. And I can't imagine living through that as the story happened, honestly. But like, her level of self-worth must have been so low that she had no choice but to live through her daughter. And it's weird because she kind of had everything going for her, in terms of family and everything else, but apparently it wasn't worth it.
And a man who loved her.
Yeah.
Now, Verna Heath told a reporter later on, "I felt numb and I felt hurt and I sank into the couch when police told her Wanda Holloway tried to hire a hitman to kill her." I mean, wow. I have to say, if police came to my house and said, "Hey, Jane Doe was planning to have you killed so your daughter. I mean, this is somebody that your kids grew up with. I mean, you may not like each other and you may be in competition, but to kill you
Well,
for cheerleading. Cheerleading.
Pom poms.
We're not talking about because your child needs a liver or a kidney.
No, because that would be for a good cause.
Murder, but
well, yeah. But yeah, no. Cheerleading does some weird things to some strange people. It attracts. I mean, cheerleading in and of itself brings people in. And I got a lot of friends that are cheerleaders. They are wonderful people. I will say that a good majority, I wouldn't say a majority, but there's the loudest of them all are the ones that want that attention all the time. And it's just not, there needs to be a better culture surrounding it, a more supportive culture, and it's still not that way. It's still the way that you're explaining it.
so, well, Wanda Holloway was officially charged with solicitation of capital murder and was released on bond for $10,000 on January 30th.
She found $10,000 but couldn't find the 2,500 or
Well,
7,500.
I'm just going to say that her husband, C.D. Holloway, he loved her. So once the story hit the news, a frenzy pounced upon Channelview, Texas. There were reporters from all over holed up inside the local hotels, with one tabloid saying pom-poms are a major part of the Lone Star legend. Like, that was a quote. I was like,
I just
when I think of
imagine
the Lone Star State, I don't think of pom-poms.
I just think of the Lone Ranger with like mascara and pom poms in a skirt. Tonto.
That would be
Toss
funny.
Me.
Now, what I found interesting is that it had been reported in several outlets that Verna Heath received roses every day from a producer at a current affair trying to entice her to go on camera and talk about Wanda Holloway. I mean, roses? Wine maybe? Vodka? But roses?
Well, it's the Yellow Rose of Texas. That is the song, right? I don't know. Handsome hubby, you can take that out too.
So the effect this had on the community was vast, and at Alice Johnson Junior High, it was insane. The staff was trying to police the students, the grounds, and work to keep the media circus out of the school, while also trying to return things to normal for the students. Cheerleader tryouts were held as planned on March 22nd. Verna Heath and her daughter were there, and not surprisingly, Verna looked tired and like she had lost weight, and she had a stone-cold stare as she sat in the bleachers. Now, just because Verna was tired did not mean that she showed up in sweatpants. She was dolled up in true Texas style with big hair, perfect makeup, and an outfit for a queen. Everyone was worried about Amber and if she could handle all of the pressure. Someone had snuck into the school and had placed a target bullseye on one of Amber's photographs for the tryouts, which that's evil.
Yep, I made a face when you said that, except this is a podcast and nobody can hear a face. That
just wrong.
Scares me. Yeah, that's messed up.
Not even funny.
No, no, it's not. And I usually want to try and make jokes, and I cannot make a joke.
Well, and it is said that Amber did not receive any special attention during tryouts, and everyone acted like it was a normal day. There were 4 open slots and 4 candidates. All 4 made the freshman cheerleading squad for next year. However, Shanna Holloway did not try out that year and never tried out again.
She finally had her mom away from being over her. And so she was not. She must have been so worried about disappointing her mom, which makes me think that her mom was possibly pretty dangerous at home, and unpredictable.
Yeah. Now, Shanna's father wanted her to change schools, but she said no, and she continued going to school.
Wow.
I mean, and people turned on Wanda Holloway, as we see happens when a person becomes infamous for a crime.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly, Shanna was bullied by her classmates because she tried to go on every day as if it's a normal day. She woke up each morning and she said, I'm going to school. I'm doing this. And they bullied her for it.
Why is the world so ridiculous? Like, it's bad enough that she has to live through this knowing that her mother didn't think she was good enough, so that she wanted to have a rival's mother, like, snuffed. Yeah.
And up until a certain point in the beginning, Shanna was not aware that her mother also had planned to have Amber killed. And once the trial and everything started, she was aware. So Wanda Holloway's trial began in Harris County, August 23rd, with Wanda pleading not guilty.
Well, I think it fell in the realm of, a decent decision.
No,
No,
that's not what she said.
That's just a nope.
The defense said that Terry Harper was setting Wanda up so that his brother Tony could get custody of the kids.
The defense had the tapes just like the prosecution did, right?
Yep. And during the trial, those recorded conversations between Wanda and Terry were played for the jury.
Oh, if I was defense, I'd just be sinking farther and farther into my seat. Ugh.
Now, this did sway the jury, and Wanda was convicted, and she was sentenced to 15 years in prison and fined $10,000.
That's all I can think of is she's going to get out, she's going to have a bigger chip on her shoulder, and then she's just going to go do it herself. I don't think 15 is enough.
Well, what the jurors did not know was that in Texas, that there's a law that allowed a felon with a prison term of 15 years or less to post an appeal bond of $75,000 and stay out of jail pending appeal. Wanda did this and was sent home within days of her conviction.
No. But she found the 75,000. I don't know how she did it, but
well, the case did not end here.
Okay, do go on.
As Wanda filed an appeal for a new trial after it was discovered that one of the jurors had not been honest about a drug conviction. Wanda was granted a new trial, was scheduled to start on November 8th, 1996. Mind you, she was convicted in 1991. She was sent home on that $75,000. Her appeal was in November of 96. She's already out 5 more years.
And I would say that those 5 years were probably a pain in the butt with everything going on, but she's so conceited and oblivious to everybody around her that she probably carried on as if nothing had ever happened. I would imagine. I wasn't there, but in my head, that's how it worked.
Yeah, I can't. Now, in September of 1996, Wanda Holloway made a plea deal. She pled no contest and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. So she got 5 years off.
Yeah.
Now, this meant that Wanda would only spend 6 months in prison and was paroled for the remaining time on her sentence. Now, neither side was happy with the final outcome of the case. Yeah. She didn't feel that she deserved that sentence.
it wasn't a sentence, it was a fragment. Like, she didn't even get a sentence. That's a joke.
I
Uh,
I feel so. Now, C.D. Holloway divorced Wanda while she was in jail for that 6 months,
mhm.
and he did remarry. He passed away in 2006. Now, Wanda Holloway has kept a very low profile but lives in Texas still and is reportedly married for the fourth time.
You know, she's starting to turn into the whole minus the murder thing, Black Widow. Like, she,
That
like from
just
your
popped into my
episode.
head.
Yeah, like from your episode, it was, what was it? It was two ago, right? 2 or 3 ago. It was so
Yeah.
good. It was a good episode, and that's what it's reminding me of.
She doesn't kill him.
Right. She doesn't kill him. I mean, she doesn't kill him physically, but I mean, I'm sure emotionally they're destroyed in a way. I mean, she doesn't build a well,
Now,
but
Shauna grew up and is currently married and lives in the Humble area, and she is a teacher and a mother of 2 boys.
good for her.
Yeah. Now,
That's something.
I know. I mean, she came through it. So Shauna said she still has a relationship with her mother, but it's not the carefree, adoring relationship one would expect between a mother and a daughter.
I would imagine.
Shauna says the murder for hire plot ruined her high school years and that she suffered from depression and anxiety.
Ugh.
Shanna has also shared she never wanted to be a cheerleader and only did it to make her mom happy.
You know, kids are very they're very people pleasing. They're resilient, yeah. They're also people pleasers. They want to do the right thing, and if mom is saying do this, do this, do this, do this, I'll be so happy, I'll be so happy. They're gonna do it. And at a certain point, as a parent, you have to be able to say what's best for my kid. And it's very evident that she was not even close to being on that level. So, I mean, I'm just amazed that she was as resilient as she was. I can only imagine today if that happened. It would be so, so bad.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't then, but with mass
No.
media and everything now, it would be impossible to ever escape the spotlight of that.
Mhm. I mean, the Heath family sued Wanda Holloway, and the suit was settled for a payment of $150,000. She had been better off. She just paid the $7,500.
Dude, she
Just
was already
kidding.
in it like 85 grand, with the appeals and everything.
Yeah. Now, today, Verna Heath works for Legal Shield and loves spending time with her children and their families. Amber also went on to marry and have children, and she has stayed out of the limelight and has gone on with her life.
Good for all of them. I mean, it's so easy just to be like, this is the 10-year reunion. Let's bring them all on the show,
Right.
but
I mean,
it's
it's just
nice.
crazy.
Yeah, it's, um, it's like stage mom or cheer mom gone wrong,
Hmm.
so badly. And like stage moms, they might take your money as a kid. But this is insane. I mean, you've turned it up to 11. So,
Well, I have to ask because my children are grown, but as a
mhm.
parent, did you learn anything? Like if you're, I don't know if you have boys or girls, but did you learn that if your wife all of a sudden $7,500 is missing, to maybe have a conversation with your wife?
Yeah, I think I would have that mostly because, Blockbuster is no longer a thing, so late fees aren't there. And I'd probably wonder where that went and when I'm gonna die. So,
But did you learn anything about how would you maybe recommend parents do different
I've always,
besides just let your
yeah,
kids do what they want to do and let them do what they love?
yeah,
And
I
if they
mean,
fail, they fail.
my parents were pretty awesome about supporting me. I mean, it's not every day that a kid goes to his parents and say, "Hey, I want to be a mascot," and then they support you for 16 years as you do that. Um,
Oh,
and
Lord, your
I
parents.
know. Yeah, I know. My poor parents.
I don't know how I
Um,
would, I don't know how I would have done with that, but you enjoyed it. It was fun. It's not like you were
yeah,
saying, "Hey, I want to go out and kill people."
but there's a lot of things, honestly, in terms of kids, like my kids coming and telling me what they want to do. There are a lot more intense things to have a conversation with your kids about than what they want to do. If it hurts them and it's harmful, yeah, that's one thing. But gosh, if my sons want to be actors, it's a hard life, and I'll probably communicate that to them. But if they still want to do it, that means they're committed. And who am I to say no, right?
But are
So
you going to try to kill their competition when they're trying out for a movie?
no, I really like Richard Gere. See,
I'm
in
sorry to
my
tell you,
head,
Richard Gere's going to be dead by the time your kids are trying out for anything. You said 1 in 3. I mean,
yeah, yeah. No, but I mean, like, no, there's no way that I would ever be like that because I think if the kid wants it, then they're willing to earn it. And I think failure is just another success when you learn from it. And so, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm too easygoing, but I also am not somebody to hire a hitman. So,
I mean, I give her credit for loving her daughter and wanting the best for her.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, I see nothing wrong with sending them to cheerleading camp, giving them all of the best. I mean, when my son was playing basketball, we paid for him to be in the Dallas Mavericks camp with Cuban
that's cool.
and Diop and all of them.
Yeah,
If that gave him a leg up, great.
yeah.
But I'm not going to go and try to kill the competition.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
gave
that's
him the
just
tools.
yeah, and what it means is that for a decade or however long it was, her daughter was literally doing something every single day for hours a day that she didn't want to do. And who knows what else she would have been able to do if she did what she wanted.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't even think of that.
I mean, it is hours a day, tumbling and cheering and memorizing routines and practicing, and it is so time consuming, and I have a lot of respect for cheerleaders. I do, because it is a sport. I don't care what people say. Um, you try and hold up women like it just
It's a sport. Oh, I
it's hard
nothing
to
coming out of
sell.
this mouth. It's a
Um,
sport,
yeah, but
and you got to
there's
look
so
good
many
doing it.
hours. Yeah,
I
yeah.
swam. Nobody could see me.
I as you know, I went from cheerleading to a mascot because I didn't look good doing it. So they just covered me up in a suit. Um, but but yeah, I mean, there's so much time that's spent, and I cannot imagine doing something that I didn't want to do for that long and that intensely. That in and of itself is a crime, and it should be
Agreed.
labeled as such. So
Yeah, I mean that's child abuse. If we think
yeah,
about it, it
oh,
is.
absolutely, yeah, and it's mental and physical, and not in the definition that we have
Right.
really today, but it is in a way it is, yeah.
It is. Well, I am so happy that you joined me today for the case of the cheerleader mom. It was great having you on, and thank you for being a fan.
Thank you for having me. It was fun. Mm.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
If you would like to interact with me directly and get information about our upcoming episodes, you can find me on Twitter at Terry True Crime or on Facebook, True Crime and Wine Time. I look forward to chatting with you soon. Hello, True Crime and Wine Time friends. If you are addicted to True Crime and Wine Time and want to help us keep the wine flowing and show your support of the show, you can join our Patreon family at patreon.com/True Crime and Wine Time. We have several different tiers and something for everyone. By joining our Patreon family, you will get all episodes a day early, and each tier has additional content like extra episodes, Q&A with me, your host, blooper reels, and much more. So, go support us today at patreon.com/True Crime and Wine Time. I want to say our episode today was researched by Terry Dussold, edited by Phil Dussold. Our theme music is by Ada Gold. If you want to support me in true crime and wine time, please go to your favorite podcast app and review us. Honest reviews are always appreciated. You can also interact with me directly on our Facebook page at True Crime and Wine Time or on Twitter at Terry True Crime. Thank you for listening to True Crime and Wine Time. Until next week, stay safe, watch out for crime, and enjoy your wine time.